self-treatment are going to be the same things that we talk about a lot, and it's going to be listening to your body. All right. With self-treatment, you always want to use your body's response as a guide to whether you're helping yourself release the restrictions or if you're just kind of making yourself brace. Okay. And it's not no pain, no gain. And it's also, if there's pain, it doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. The thing is, wherever you're treating, if you feel where you're treating softening, if you feel it giving, if you feel it opening, then you are helping your body to release. Your body's number one goal is to stay alive and healthy. So if you were doing something to it that it deemed was threatening, then your body would react. It would brace against what you're doing. Okay? So now the key is, if you take a tool, and we have all kinds of different tools that we use, but most people, everyone who comes to our clinic is going to get a ball. And these aren't super special balls. They're the same balls that get thrown out at halftime at the games. You can get them through Staples, you can get them through a lot of different places. But we like these balls because they are soft and pliable, and people can start using them, and it's generally safe because unfortunately, most of our philosophy is if a little is good, then a lot is better. So people are usually way too forceful when they start with self-treatment. So that's why it's important to listen to your body. When you find a place that's tight, if you roll around put the ball against your back and roll around against the wall, you'll be able to find a place that's tight, usually in your shoulders. If you put the ball against that place that's tight, and you push just enough to feel that tension and wait, then within good 4 or 5 breaths, you should feel your body starting to sink around the ball. Okay? If you push too hard, you will feel the body actually push back against you. That's not going to do anything. And unfortunately, that's a lot of what we were taught. If you're fighting against your body, nothing's going to release. So what I tell people generally is when they think they have enough pressure, if they back off a little bit, they'll probably feel their body actually soften more, because we are just generally have been taught to be too forceful. So the first step, finding a place that's tight, and I'll show you a little bit more how to do that. The second step would be putting just enough pressure to where you engage it. And then the third step is time. It takes a minute and a half before that tissue will actually start to change in a permanent way. Okay? And I'm going to repeat that because most people hear that and say, oh, I need to hold it a minute and a half. No, you need to hold it at least 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes. Okay? 3 minutes at the minimal. If you can hold 5 or 6 minutes, then that's a lot better. If you do not use that time component, you're not changing things. And it's better to only treat 2 or 3 places and do them for longer than to treat a lot of places. So the direct technique is using a tool. We've used pool noodles, we've used the balls. You got the big pool noodles, you got the small pool noodles. You can even use a water bottle. If you're driving and you're hurting, you can put the water bottle behind you and lean against it. The tool itself isn't as important as only using just the right amount of pressure to where you engage it, but not making it forceful. So with direct technique, that's one way. The other way to treat is using stretching or elongation. Most people, again, when we're taught to stretch, it's going as hard as we can to the end range and really forcing it, and that's what we've been taught. Well, end range is the last portion before it becomes somewhat injurious to your body. So if you're holding out and forcing it, again, it's not going to release. Instead, if you take your arm and you can just rest it on a chair so that you feel a gentle tension, and then you can elongate by just taking the slack out. So if you think of it more of, I'm going to take the slack out till there's tension, instead of I'm forcing it at the end range, then you will get a release. So you go to a position where I'm not in end range, I put it in a place where it's resting, take out the slack, and now the time component. Again, at least 3 minutes. It's better if it's more 5 to 7 minutes. And I know that I'm doing it correctly when I just every once in a while feel a little bit of a give. If I feel my body bracing against me, then that is too much force, okay? So the principles, just engaging the tissue either with direct pressure or using that elongation and giving it time and listening to your body. If it hurts, but you feel it softening, then you're helping yourself. So if I put direct pressure on and it's painful, but I can feel my body softening, then you're actually helping to release the tissue. It's just like when you rub out a Charlie horse. It may hurt, but you feel it softening and it feels good. If it is fighting back against, and it may not even hurt, if you're putting too much pressure, it may just be bracing against it, then you're really not going to be doing anything very effective. It's just going to make the body brace and it's not going to release. So remember that many times less is more and longer is better, and you can treat anywhere in your body if you use these principles. You can treat your belly, you can treat your legs, you can treat wherever, because you're always listening to your body's response.